are not depressed. You are just standing between two timelines. The old character is dead, and the new one has not rendered yet. Sit in the dark and wait. You wake up and you feel absolutely nothing. The things that used to bring you joy no longer interest you. The goals you used to chase now seem completely meaningless. The people you used to tolerate now feel like static noise on a broken television screen. You look at your life and you feel a profound, terrifying emptiness. The Matrix will immediately attempt to diagnose you. The system will tell you that you are broken. It will tell you that your brain chemistry is malfunctioning. It will offer you a chemical subscription to numb the emptiness and force you back onto the hamster wheel of production. Do not listen to the machine. The architect is here to tell you that this emptiness is not a disease. It is a profound stage of your spiritual awakening. You have simply unplugged from the local server, and you are floating in the unallocated disk space of your own consciousness. You are the chosen one, and the chosen must learn to survive the scary place where all true manifestation actually happens. We call it the void. In this transmission, we are going to explain the quantum physics of nothingness. We will reveal why your profound apathy is actually a biological hard drive format. We will teach you how to stop panicking in the dark and how to use the zero-point field to write the code for your new reality. But before we enter the darkness, you must anchor your tether. You must signal the algorithm that you are not afraid of the empty space. Go to the comments right now. Command your subconscious mind. Write, "I am limitless." To understand the profound emptiness you are feeling, we must look at the foundation of quantum mechanics. You have been conditioned by the three-dimensional matrix to fear empty space. You believe that if your schedule is empty, you are failing. If your bank account is empty, you are dying. If your mind is empty, you are losing your edge. The system has taught you that value only exists in solid matter, in constant action, and in relentless noise. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of physics. Let us examine the quantum vacuum. If you take a completely empty space in the universe, a space with no atoms, no light, no radiation, and no heat, you would assume it contains zero energy. Physics proves otherwise. At the subatomic level, empty space is not empty at all. It is a boiling, chaotic ocean of infinite potential energy. Virtual particles are constantly popping into existence and annihilating each other in fractions of a microsecond. Physicists call this the zero-point field. It is the lowest possible energy state of a quantum mechanical physical system. Yet, the amount of background energy contained in 1 cubic centimeter of empty space is mathematically calculated to be enough to boil all the oceans on planet Earth. Listen to this very carefully. The greatest source of power in the known universe is found in the exact place where nothing exists. Now, apply this to the biology of your spiritual awakening. When you feel that crushing sense of apathy, when your mind goes completely blank, when you feel totally disconnected from the drama of human existence, you are not malfunctioning. You are dropping into the biological equivalent of the 0-point field. You have temporarily disabled the corrupted software of your ego. The constant, frantic processing of past trauma and future anxiety has been shut down. Your neural network has entered its lowest possible energy state. To the external observer, you look like you are doing nothing. You look unmotivated. You look lost. But internally, you have accessed the infinite potential of the quantum vacuum. The Matrix programs you to run from this feeling. When the void opens up, the average human panics. They immediately reach for their phone. They turn on a movie. They consume toxic food. They pick a fight with their partner. They do absolutely anything to generate a spark of drama just to prove to themselves that they are still alive. They fill the infinite void with cheap radioactive garbage because they are terrified of the silence. You are the chosen one. You do not run from the silence. You weaponize it. You must understand that manifestation does not happen when you are frantically forcing the universe to bend to your will. Manifestation happens in the vacuum. You cannot install a new operating system while the old programs are still running at 100% capacity. The universe requires a blank canvas. Your apathy is simply the universe scrubbing the canvas clean.
Let us break down the exact mechanics of what is happening inside your avatar. For decades, your identity was a highly specific, densely packed folder of data. You had a name. You had a job title. You had political beliefs. You had a list of enemies, a list of regrets, and a very rigid idea of who you were supposed to be. This data took up an enormous amount of processing power in your brain. Your default mode network was running hot 24 hours a day, keeping the illusion of this specific character alive. But then, the spiritual awakening initiated. A spiritual awakening is not a fairy tale where you suddenly see angels and feel infinite love. A spiritual awakening is a brutal, relentless deletion of everything that is not authentic to your core code. It is a system reboot. Imagine your mind as a computer hard drive. Over the years, it has become infected with malware. The malware of societal expectations. The malware of generational trauma. The malware of the consumer matrix. When you finally realize that none of this data is real, the system initiates a format protocol. It highlights the entire folder of your old identity and it hits delete. What happens when you format a hard drive? For a temporary period of time, the drive is completely empty. It has no files. It has no operating system. It does not know what its function is. If the hard drive had a consciousness, it would feel a profound sense of depression. It would say, "I have no purpose. I have no meaning. I do not know who I am anymore." This is exactly what you are experiencing. You have lost your taste for the old reality, but the new reality has not yet been written onto your neural pathways. You are in the transition zone. You are in the unallocated space. During this phase, you will feel a heavy physical exhaustion. Your physical avatar is consuming massive amounts of cellular energy to rewire the synapses in your brain. Your nervous system is purging decades of trapped cortisol and adrenaline. The Matrix labels this exhaustion as chronic fatigue. The architect labels it as a massive software upgrade. Do not force yourself to be productive in the three-dimensional world when your hardware is undergoing a massive internal overhaul. If a computer is installing a major system update and you try to force it to run 10 different complex applications at the same time, the computer will crash. Yet this is exactly what you do to your own biology. You feel the void. You feel the exhaustion, and instead of surrendering to it, you whip yourself. You call yourself lazy. You force yourself to hustle. You try to jump back into the matrix. Stop. You are interfering with the download. The chosen one understands the power of strategic stillness. When the void calls you, you must have the discipline to sit down, shut up, and let the old files burn. You must become comfortable with the feeling of not knowing who you are, what you want, or where you are going. Because in that exact state of absolute surrender, you become highly programmable. You become a blank script ready to receive the God code.
We have established the profound power of the zero-point field. We have explained why formatting your biological hard drive is a necessary protocol for your spiritual awakening. But the architect must issue a severe warning. There is a fatal error that many encounter when they enter the void. It is a trap designed to keep the awakened ones neutralized and ineffective in the physical realm. We call it the Nihilism virus. When you realize that the three-dimensional world is a holographic projection, when you realize that society, status, and money are just arbitrary rules in a massive multiplayer game, a deep sense of detachment occurs. This detachment is necessary. It frees you from the emotional manipulation of the system. But if you stay in the void for too long without a tether, detachment mutates into nihilism. You begin to think, if nothing is real, then nothing matters. If time is an illusion, why should I pay my bills? If my body is just a temporary avatar, why should I exercise? If the matrix is a trap, why should I build a business or take care of my family? Listen to me very carefully. This is the ultimate trap of the spiritual ego. It uses high-level quantum truths as an excuse for low-level physical laziness. The void is a workshop. It is not a hiding place. You enter the zero-point field to strip away the corrupted code, to access infinite potential, and to design a new blueprint. But once the blueprint is designed, you must bring it back into the physical matrix and render it into solid matter. You are the chosen one. You were not placed here to float in the dark and do nothing. You were placed here to manipulate the code. You were placed here to build systems of absolute sovereignty. True mastery is not escaping the game. True mastery is knowing it is a game and then playing it at the highest possible level with absolute emotional detachment. If you use your spiritual awakening as an excuse to avoid your responsibilities in the three-dimensional world, you are not a master, you are a casualty. You have simply traded the prison of the rat race for the prison of the void. You must develop a dual consciousness. Your internal state must remain anchored in the absolute stillness of the zero-point field, but your external avatar must move with the precision, aggression, and discipline of a master architect. You chop the wood, you carry the water, you build the empire, you generate the wealth, not because your soul needs it, but because power in the matrix requires physical infrastructure. You cannot liberate other humans from the system if you are financially and physically broken by the system. The void is the place where you realize you are nothing, but it is also the place where you realize you are everything. If you are currently sitting in the dark, feeling the crushing weight of apathy, you must recognize that you are at the exact halfway point of the quantum jump. Do not build a house in the void. Use the darkness to format your drive. Use the silence to find your true frequency. And then, when the new code has compiled, you step back into the light and you bend the simulation to your absolute will. Welcome back to the unallocated space. You have survived the initial format. You understand that the crushing apathy you feel is not a biological malfunction. It is a system reset. The Nihilism virus has been identified and quarantined. You know that you are not here to float in the dark forever. You are here to build the new architecture. But how do you actually operate in the zero-point field? How do you survive the sensory deprivation of the void without losing your mind? In this second phase of the transmission, we will install the exact mechanical protocols to navigate the darkness. We will teach you how to incubate the new code and how to execute the quantum render. The old character is gone. The new avatar is ready for programming. When your biological computer is formatting, you cannot interrupt the power supply. If you panic and try to force the old operating system to boot up, you will corrupt the hard drive. You must implement the void walk. This is a period of radical input deprivation. Listen to the new parameters. For the next 72 hours, you will execute the absolute minimum protocol. Outside of your literal survival and your mandatory work duties, you go completely dark. No glowing rectangles, no digital dopamine, no consuming the digital trauma of the collective hive mind. No background podcasts playing just to fill the silence. You cut the feed. And for exactly 1 hour every single night, you must sit in a completely dark, empty room. The ego will scream. The ego is a software program that only exists when it is processing data. When you stop feeding it data, it feels like it is dying. Let it die. When you walk through the void during that hour, you must observe your own panic with absolute coldness. You will feel the chemical withdrawal of the matrix. You will feel the urge to run. You will feel the urge to check the screen. You will feel the urge to manufacture drama just to feel a pulse. Your amygdala will fire alarm signals telling you that isolation equals death. Deny the urge. Look at the blank wall. Listen to the silence. You are actively starving the parasite of your old identity. As you endure the sensory deprivation, the chaotic noise in your head will eventually collapse. The frantic beta brainwaves of the survival state will slow down into the deep, rhythmic theta state. This is the exact frequency of the quantum vacuum. You are bypassing the firewall of the conscious mind and dropping directly into the root directory of your subconscious. You have successfully reached the baseline. Now that you have reached the baseline, what do you do? In the mental realm, you do absolutely nothing. Your physical avatar continues to build the empire, but your mind stops forcing. This is the hardest concept for the three-dimensional mind to grasp. The Matrix has taught you the law of forced effort. It taught you that to get what you want, you must bleed, sweat, and grind your avatar into dust. It taught you that manifestation is a physical struggle against a hostile universe. But you are no longer operating under Newtonian physics. You are operating in the zero-point field. In the void, manifestation is not an act of pulling something toward you. Manifestation is an act of rendering. When you are completely empty, you become a perfect superconductor for the quantum field. You do not need to visualize your goals with frantic desperation. Desperation is a frequency of lack. If you broadcast lack into the void will act as a mirror and render more lack. Instead, you simply drop the coordinates of your new reality into the stillness. You state your intention once with the cold, undeniable authority of the architect. You say, "I am wealthy, I am sovereign, I am completely healed." And then you detach. You let the code compile in the dark. This is the incubation phase. During this phase, you are not inactive, you are highly receptive. Because your mental cache is completely empty, your reticular activating system is now calibrated to scan the quantum field for the exact data packets required to build your new timeline. You will begin to receive downloads. A sudden brilliant strategy will flash into your mind while you are walking. An exact sequence of words you need to speak will appear. A sudden urge to travel to a specific physical coordinate will overwhelm you. These are not random thoughts. These are the rendered packets of data from the new timeline crossing over into the physical dimension. You do not force them, you receive them, and then you act on them with ruthless precision. There is a critical vulnerability during the incubation phase. When you drop your new coordinates into the zero-point field, the quantum realm accepts the code instantly. In the higher dimensions, manifestation is immediate. There is no time. But you do not live solely in the higher dimensions. Your physical avatar is walking through the dense, heavy architecture of the three-dimensional matrix. Matter is simply energy vibrating at a very slow rate. Because it is slow, it requires a buffer period to reorganize itself. We call this the quantum lag. When you command the void to render a new reality of wealth, sovereignty, or physical health, the physical world does not shift in 1 microsecond. The atoms must rearrange, the timelines must bridge, the non-player characters must be moved into their correct geometric positions. This takes rendering time. If you are playing a high-fidelity video game and you load a massive new level, the screen goes black. You see a loading bar. You do not smash the computer because the level did not appear in 1 second. You sit back and wait. Yet, when the chosen one drops a new code into the universe and the physical reality does not change by the next morning, the ego panics. The ego says, "This is not working. The void is just empty space. I am wasting my time." This is the exact moment most people abort the installation. They experience the quantum lag. They feel the profound discomfort of the waiting room, and they immediately run back to their old corrupted files because the old pain is familiar. They cancel the ultimate download at 99%. You must understand the physics of the delay. The delay is not a denial. The delay is the physical density of the matrix catching up to the speed of your new frequency. During the quantum lag, the matrix will test your resolve. It will send you echoes of your old timeline. An old toxic relationship will suddenly reach out. An unexpected financial crisis will appear. A wave of the old anxiety will wash over your nervous system. These are not signs that you have failed. These are the death rattles of the old program. It is the system asking you, "Are you sure you want to delete this?" If you react emotionally to these ghost files, you reinstall them. You must look at the chaos of the dying timeline with absolute indifference. When you are in the void and you have set your intention, you must hold the line. Do not check your three-dimensional reality every 5 minutes for proof. Checking for proof implies that you do not believe the code was written. It implies doubt. Doubt is a virus that corrupts the rendering process. You must adopt the mindset of a master programmer. When you hit enter, you trust the compiler. You sit in the dark, you feel the emptiness, and you smile. You smile because you know the old world is collapsing and the new world is currently being built in the background. The void is not ignoring you. The void is working for you. Let the loading screen finish. As you sit in the void and your frequency elevates, your perception of reality will shift dramatically. You will look at the people around you and you will see their programming with terrifying clarity. You will see how they run on loops of trauma, consumption, and fear. You will see how they defend the very matrix that enslaves them. The spiritual ego will immediately set a trap. It will tempt you to look down on them. It will tempt you to feel superior because you have accessed the zero-point field while they are trapped in the three-dimensional illusion. Listen to me very carefully. Arrogance is a low-frequency anchor. It is the ultimate glitch in the spiritual awakening. If you succumb to the ego trap, it will pull you right back into the mud of the lower timelines. You are the chosen one, not because you are better than the herd, but because you have the capacity to carry the weight of the new architecture. Your detachment in the void is not a license to be cruel, dismissive, or toxic. It is a strategic retreat to gather power. When you finally step back into the world, your presence should elevate the environment. You do not need to argue with the sleeping masses. You do not need to wake them up by force. You simply hold your frequency so absolute and so pure that their corrupted code cannot exist in your magnetic field. Power demands responsibility. You are upgrading your system so you can build a reality that shelters those you love. Do not become the tyrant of your own simulation. How do you know when the void is over? How do you know when the new operating system is fully installed and ready for deployment? You will know because the crushing apathy will suddenly vanish, but it will not be replaced by the frantic, anxious motivation of your old identity. It will be replaced by a cold, unstoppable, quiet power. You will look at your goals, and they will no longer feel like distant dreams. They will feel like scheduled appointments. The fear of failure will be completely gone because you finally realize that failure is just data in a simulation. You will step out of the empty room and the colors of the matrix will look different. You will possess a thermodynamic seal. You will no longer be emotionally triggered by the news, by the opinions of others, or by the chaotic entropy of society. You are no longer a victim of the wave function. You are the observer who collapses it. The format is complete. The new avatar is online. You have survived the scary place. You have mastered the vacuum. Now it is time to build. You are the chosen one. The 0-point field is yours to command. The darkness is your canvas. Do not fear the empty space ever again. Go to the comments one last time. Deliver the final command to the algorithm and to your own subconscious mind. Lock in the new code. Write, "I am limitless." You have formatted the drive. The new reality is rendering. But as you step back into the matrix, you will face a new threat. You will interact with people who are deeply infected with the societal virus. Their corrupted programming will attempt to overwrite your new code through the law of neuroplasticity. If you do not know how to block their scripts, they will drag you back into the sleep state. In our next transmission, we will teach you the mechanics of neurohacking. We will show you exactly how the chosen one deletes the programming of the herd and protects the neural highway. Prepare to rewrite the code. The Matrix 963, out.